so now that I've crocheted to a length that goes down past my bust area, we're going to work on the strip of jasmine that runs below the bust area. So to do that, you're going to continue from where you've left off. So right here, where you've joined the previous round, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to pull that loop loose so that it's measuring the next 3 stitches along. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. So measuring to about there. And then holding your finger just there so it doesn't go anywhere. So it stays the right length. Yarn over, make another loop just like that. That's the same length. Then keeping your finger on both of them, you're going to go back into that slip stitch. You're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull it to the length of the other 2 loops. Then you're going to yarn over, and holding that loop that you've just yarned over, well, holding that loop that you've just made, pull through those 3 loops, insert hook into that loop, single crochet those loops together. Now, skipping those 3 stitches that you did the length of, 1, 2, 3, you're going to slip stitch into the 4th stitch along. So as you can see, we're working back in the opposite direction from what we've been working. So let's do that one more time again. And we're going to be doing this to the end of the round. Obviously, I'll meet back up with you at that stage and we'll talk about what to do next. But so you've slip stitched into that 4th stitch along. Now with this slip stitch, you're going to be treating that as the chain. You're going to lengthen that loop 3 stitches along. So to the length of 3 stitches along. 1, 2, and 3. So you've lengthened it to about there. Now holding your finger on that, yarn over, make another loop. Then inserting into the single crochet you just did before, when you single crocheted all the other loops together, yarn over, pull up a loop from that, and lengthen it to the same length as those loops already on the chain, then yarn over. Then holding the loop you've just made with that yarn over, pull it through the 3 loops, and then single crochet all those loops together. And there we go. Now, skipping those next 3 stitches along, so 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the 4th stitch along. I hope this is making sense. Let's run through it again together. So you've slip stitched into the 4th stitch along, then you lengthen the loop 3 stitches, so 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, make that loop the same length, then insert the hook into the single crochet you did for the previous single crochet. Pull up a loop and make it the same length as the other 2 loops, then yarn over, and then holding on to that loop that you've just yarned over, pull it through the other 3 loops and single crochet them together using that loop. Then skipping those 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the 4th stitch along. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Continue doing that all the way around. Because I've got 120 stitches and I'm using 4 stitches, 4 double crochets per jasmine, beginning of the jasmine stitch, I'll be doing 30 of these around. So you're doing it in multiples of 4. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of the round and we'll talk about where to go from there. Okay, so here I am. I've just completed my last puff of the round, my last puff stitch. And as you can see, I'm back at the beginning where I've done my first puff stitch. So skipping those 3 stitches in the middle, I'm going to slip stitch back into the original, it's like the turning chain that we use, or the chain that we slip stitched into from the beginning, slip stitching into that. So that's closing the round. So there you can see you've got your puff stitches all the way around. Now for the next row, we're going to be going back in the other direction again. So to do that, you chain 1 and pull it loose. So you've got to kind of make sure all the puffs are about the same length. So just sort of have a look at it, sort of gauge it, see what you think. But always make sure they're going to be the same length. So we're pulling that loose, that chain that we just did, yarn over, then we're inserting into that last single crochet that we did that joined the previous puff. Yarn over, pull through, pull up a loop, then yarn over, and we're making another puff, so yarn over, pull through those 3 loops, single crochet those loops together. like that. So this is the turning puff. Now what we do from here is we start another puff, so chain 1, pull that loop loose, then yarn over, insert into the single crochet that you've done. See, for that last puff, insert into that single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop so that they're all loose like that. But don't finish this one because, and just be careful not to pull those tight. We're going to once again yarn over, then move back to the previous single crochet that you did, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're going to do that twice into that single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then moving to the next single crochet along, yarn over, and do the same. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now you've got all these, might look a bit messy at the moment, but it's going to be okay. All these loops on the hook. So now what you do is you yarn over, and holding on to that loop you've just made with the yarn over, you're going to pull that loop through all of the loops on your hook. So just like this, being really careful. This can get a little tricky. Oh yeah, see, this can get a little tricky, especially when the yarn is fine. So I'm going to go away and redo everything I just did and meet back up with you in a second. Alright, here I am again. So all of those loops on the hook, yarn over, and sort of holding on to like this, pull that loop through all of those loops on your hook. There we go, did it, yay! And then you're going to go into that loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and single crochet all of that together. And that's what that's going to look like. Alright, from here we're going to do pretty much the same thing. So yarn over, make a chain, or chains, no sorry, chain 1, pull that loop loose, then yarn over, insert into that single crochet, don't finish, yarn over, move back to the next single crochet, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, moving back to the previous single crochet from that, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over. So you're doing that 3 times each go. Yarn over, holding on to that loop you just made, yarn over and pull through all those loops on your hook, and then using that loop that you just made that you held onto, single crochet all those loops together. So this is for this row. You're going to do this all the way back to the other end, and then we'll meet back up when we get to this end and we will talk about where to go from there. Alright, and here I am at the end, and I've just completed my last triple puff cluster, so that's that just there. And here I am. Now I'm just going to go into that single crochet from the beginning puff, top of the beginning puff, and I'm just going to slip stitch into that like that. Now for the next round we're going to turn. We're actually going to turn now. Turn your work, and you're going to chain 1. So chaining 1 and pulling the loop loose, so this is the turning chain, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the single crochet from the previous puff, so into the single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, holding on to that loop, pull through 3 loops, single crochet those loops together, and there we go. Now we basically just repeat, so chaining 1, pulling it loose, yarn over, insert hook into single crochet, pull up a loop, don't finish, then moving on to the next single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, moving on to the next single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, holding on to that loop, pull through all of those loops on the hook, single crochet together. There we go. And then you can see half a jasmine flower, just there. Alright, so moving on, trying to pull that, it's a little loose, that's fine. Alright, so yarn over and chain 1, pull that loose, pull that loop loose, yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, don't finish, yarn over, moving on to the next single crochet, pull up 2 loops, yarn over, moving on to the next single crochet, pull up 2 loops, then yarn over and holding on to that loop, pull that loop through all of the loops on the hook, then use that loop to single crochet all those loops together. There you go, and there is a jasmine puff. Nice, looking good. Okay, so you're going to go away and you're going to complete that till the end of the round. Once we've done that, we'll meet back up and we'll talk about where we're going to go from there. I think this is looking pretty good. Obviously, as you go along, try this on to make sure it's fitting you. Just to make sure you're not getting the jasmines too tight, because I think sometimes they can be a little tight if you don't measure them very well. So there we go, one more jasmine puff together, pulling through all those loops, single crochet together. I hope this has been okay. I hope you've been able to follow what I've done here. Like I said though, we'll meet back up because we're far from finished. Well, not that far, but we're far enough from finished. So that's what that's going to look like. I'm going to go away and try it on now and just continue to the end of the round, and I'll meet back up with you soon. Okay. Alright, here I am, and I've reached the end of the round, and I've finished the jasmine strip, which is awesome, and it looks like I've got enough yarn left to finish the top, so I'm really happy with that. Now, we're just going to, see, I've finished my last 3 cluster puff, or 3 puff cluster, and I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 1 from the first puff that we did at the beginning of the row, so round, just in there. Let's get a bit closer. So here we are, just into that first single crochet there, slip stitching, just like that to close the round. So that's awesome. I'm really happy with the way this looks. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's really pretty. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with double crochets, and how I'm going to be doing that to start with, straight from here I'm going to chain up 2, and then into that single crochet we slip stitched into, I'm going to put a double crochet beside that chain of 2. Then, because I'm going to be putting back in the same amount of stitches that I had before, so there'll be 120, so that's 1, and then going around this puff, I'm going to be doing 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Then moving on to the next single crochet along, I'm going to put a double crochet into that. So that's how we're going to be going. We're going to be putting single crochets in, or one double crochet into the single crochets, followed by 3 double crochets around that joining puff just there at the bottom. So we're going to put in the same amount of stitches we had before. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and 8. 8 for 3 around that puff. Then moving on to the next single crochet will be 9, and so on, like that, until you get to the end of the round. And then once you've finished that, once you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, and depending on how much yarn you've got left, you're going to chain up 2, turn the work, and double crochets back in the other direction. And then from here you're just going to be growing the length of the top to whatever you want it to be. I'm going to go away and do that. I think we should all just go away and grow the lengths of our tops, and then we should meet back up. We should try on our tops and see how they look. I'm sure they're going to look lovely. I am very happy with the way this is turning out. I think it's going to look awesome. Alright, so I'll see you again soon when we're finished. Alright. Alright, so here is the finished top. It's cute. I do like the way it's turned out. Not sure if I'll be wearing it out in public, but you know, I might. Just never say never. I'm really glad I got to use the Jasmine stitch finally, because I've been wanting to use it for a while. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. This design is probably going to lead on to my next design, which I'm very much looking forward to, although it'll be something a little bit simpler. Anyway, aside from all that, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please give the video a like, and if you haven't subscribed but you would like to subscribe to join me for some more tutorials, I would love to have you join me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.